The man with much life force inside of him has greater influence on the world around him. Those with less life force exert less influence. There is more room today than ever before for leaders who have been thoroughly trained and who have great powers of concentration, persistence, and physical and moral vigor. There are bigger opportunities waiting for the man that can make good than ever before, but the chances for the man that dissipates are becoming less. Life has become one big battle. Our powers are developed by opposition. But strange as it may seem, that which men should prize above everything else, his strength, the glory of manhood, is lost by abuse at an early age. The number of men practicing semen retention is extremely rare. I would estimate it at well below 1% of the population, and perhaps closer to 1 in 1,000 or even less. The fundamental concept behind semen retention is conserving life essence, or energy. Humans all contain a finite level of energy that slowly dissipates until the end of one's life is met, provided they have not succumbed to premature illness or accident. If you are conserving your energies, then by merit of your practice, you have placed yourself into a very small minority of men on earth, and thus receive benefits that only a very small minority of men can receive. This gives you access to a deep well of energy that you are free to draw on for your life activities, a well of energy that most men have dissipated due to sexual excess. That is why, on semen retention, you will gain a significant advantage over others in pursuit of success. You will have an edge over the vast majority of those that deplete themselves daily. It is true, however, that some people advance through life much more easily and smoothly than others. We often meet someone and instantly know this person has something special, some quality that we don't, that this person is going places. They attract more positive attention, they look better, speak better, and behave in a more likable way. There are all sorts of reasons as to why some people seem more optimized for success in the workplace, the social world, and just life in general. It appears some people were built for success. Many such people come from a long line of strong genetics, whereas others grew up in an environment that sped up their social development. For many people, the central source of conflict and angst in their life is coming to terms with their own organism, with the genetics they were assigned at birth. The face, the body, and brain you have received can dictate much of your life trajectory. This kind of face will open these kinds of doors, or this kind of body will attract these kinds of people. Conversely, that kind of face will repel those kinds of people, and that kind of body will close those kinds of doors. It may seem in many ways that by fate of our genetics, our destiny has already been predetermined, has already been doomed. Those without a strong will in life allow their genetics to dictate where society chooses to place them. If you do not wish to follow the destiny of your genetics, then you will need to develop a strong desire to carve out your own path. The tall, handsome guy, the weak, bald guy, the short, angry guy, all these human types that go through society will all be roughly categorized by the people and institutions in society, and thus much of their life trajectory will be shaped around these traits and how society perceives those traits. The physical traits you were born with elicit non-physical emotions from those you associate with, and those emotions influence the state and closeness of your relationships, and your relationships dictate your access to opportunities and ultimately your overall position in society. If you were born handsome, tall, and rich, then there are a lot of doors open to you that are not open to the next man. If you were born short, overweight, and unattractive, then there are a lot of doors closed to you that are not closed to others. This does not mean you have to accept this fate, just that if you wish for a different fate, you will have to fight harder against society to get it. You will have to show your worth in different ways, perhaps ways that are harder to achieve. If you're at a disadvantage because of some inherited traits, then you should absolutely fight your way through society to succeed. Some of you will not have to struggle, whilst many others will have to fight nail and tooth. If you have to fight, then by all means rise to the occasion. Don't get weak and indignant about the rules not being in your favor. If the chips are stacked against you, then fight harder to win anyway. He that will conquer must fight. Pursuing success is a game that you can choose to play or choose to ignore. There is an argument to be had for both sides. Reality is constructed in much the same way a game is. It abides by rules that are regulated by cause and effect. The good-looking attract the affections of others. The powerful attract respect. The weak and unattractive are met largely with indifference. Certain traits induce certain emotional responses. This occurs across the board of humanity. Human nature is quite predictable in this sense, and although geography and culture creates some variation, the underlying principle is essentially the same. Humanity behaves much like an algorithm, organizing the traits and qualities perceived of as high value into the higher echelons of society, and the traits recognized as low value into the lower sectors. If you wish to have success in the material world, then you must build your own value. You must play the game. So whilst you are here in this life, I recommend playing to succeed. Otherwise, you will have to spend the rest of life coming to terms with your own position society has allotted you. Not everyone can succeed. In fact, most will not. In order to succeed, you need to have the will to succeed. As Napoleon Hill puts it, you need to have a burning desire for success. The strength of your will is perhaps the most important factor to dictate how far you will go in pursuit of success. To learn how to develop your strength of will is thus a requisite for being successful in life. The necessary ingredient for a strong will is abundant energy. You need strong energy to develop a strong will. Conversely, a sexually dissipated man will find great trouble in generating enough energy to fuel their desires. A dissipated man will generate weak energy. A strong energy current in the body creates strong magnetism within the individual. Magnetism is the crown jewel of human power. It is the bioelectrical current in man. A man with strong magnetism is seen as attractive even when his physical characteristics suggest otherwise. Magnetism indicates a man's abundance of life and vitality inside of him and is thus seen as highly desirable. A man full of magnetism is full of life force energy. By the retention and reabsorption of the seminal fluids in the body, accepting only such as are used for purposes of procreation, the magnetic qualities as well as the mental and spiritual powers of the individual are wonderfully increased. This is strikingly illustrated in the case of great inventors and scientists who, while working out their problems, become so absorbed in their work that they never even think of the sex relation. They hardly think of food, and their hours of sleep are so greatly reduced that under ordinary conditions they would be prostrated. Yet they continue under this strain for long periods of time, and their efforts are crowned with success. Do you ever feel jealous of others around you? Your friend or acquaintance who was once at your level but has gone on to bigger things, perhaps making more money, with more status, attracting more attention than you? Perhaps you feel they had access to opportunities that you didn't, on account of their charm or their connections or their outgoing personality, whatever it may be. They had one up on you. Perhaps this person's success is making you feel inferior and uncomfortable about your own lack of progress in the world. While their future and life trajectory skyrocketed, yours seemed to have stagnated and not really changed for the better. This feeling of jealousy and injustice is a good feeling, and you should never let it go. because this is the feeling that will lead you to success. Dissatisfaction is a force that will get you out of the deep hole you're stuck in. You are not supposed to feel good all the time. These negative feelings you are experiencing are extremely important for you to be having, so do not make efforts to suppress them. The negative feelings you often experience are the exact feelings that will lead you to success in life. The more powerful these emotions, the more effective they become. It has been said that men are often born predestined for success. If you too wish to be made for success, then you need to become more hungry for it than anyone else around you. Be more dissatisfied with your current life. Be more jealous. Yearn stronger for the life that you don't have. That friend who overtook you, vow to overtake him. That person that looked down on you and thought himself above you, take revenge by overtaking his success and never paying him a moment's worth of attention again. This feeling of jealousy is a gift. It is the strongest motivator you have to force yourself into the world of success, a world that the vast majority of men cannot gain entry to. When feeling jealousy towards another's position in life, there are usually two approaches to be taken. One is to bring that person down to your level, and the other, the much more intelligent approach, is to push yourself up above their level. This is the approach I recommend to you. Don't use jealousy to launch an attack on another. Any attack you launch on another will put yourself at risk of damage to body and reputation. As they say, the best form of revenge is to go on to achieve massive success. Be honest with yourself about your good and bad traits and attributes. Choose a field that matches you both physically and mentally. If you are introverted, then work requiring extroversion is best avoided. If you wish to work your way up the hierarchy of your company and be a leader of people, then consider the usual attributes that help. If you are sensitive, then work that requires a high level of mental perceptiveness or creativity is perhaps best. Your biggest head start in life will be finding a calling that you are naturally suited to. It could save you decades. If you have no idea how best to proceed, start retaining. It was in the midst of a 6-month streak that the ideas of my own future came into view and compelled me to quit my previous path and forge a new one. The seeds of your success lie in the way you choose to think. Your mind is the ultimate instrument to bring concepts from the mental world into the physical world. If you desire something strongly enough, your mind and body will do all within its power to make that happen. If you preserve your sexual energy, your path to success will be supplied with the fuel needed to take you above and beyond in your field of endeavor. So get to work and retain your sexual energies. Your future self will thank you for it.